Hi everyone, it's Jerry. I have an excellent attacking game to share with you. This was played at the 2012 Chess Olympiad on the white ending Liren, playing against Rauf Mamedov. Okay, on board we have a King's Indian defense. This one turns half opened pretty quick. After e5, black follows with the capture on d4. So black works with this half-opened e-file, e4, now secure. And right about here is the first moment to really speak of. White's reply is knight c2. Why retreat like this? Well, let's consider a more natural looking move, for instance, queen d2, forming a battery connecting rooks. Here's how black can consider continuing, exchanging a couple minor pieces, and even welcoming a queen exchange. Is there enough material still around to press for a win here as white? Maybe not so much. So in a way, white is saying here with the retreat, let's keep more minor pieces on board. Not so welcome to a knight exchange and a dark square bishop exchange. The follow-up now, bishop e5, a move that you definitely have to respect. There is some pressure now on h2, and right around the corner, queen h4. You could easily find yourself in hot water. White's reply is knight to d5. Let's revisit queen d2 in this position. After queen h4, what are you supposed to do now as white? Play h3, there's a winning sacrifice on h3. g3, similarly, there's a winning sacrifice on g3. The only move for white in this position would be to play f4, but now your center comes under a lot of pressure, kind of flimsy here. And even though it calls it around equal, if I had to pick a side, I'm kind of leaning towards black here with this knight ready to pounce in the center. Okay, how are things different by playing knight d5 rather than queen d2? Well, let's see. The reply in this game is bishop captures b2. If black plays queen h4 here with the knight on d5 rather than the queen on d2, this would be a winning position for white. Why? Well, after f4, we're addressing the threat on h2. Notice the bishop cannot reply and capture a piece. The knight is no longer on c3. You could capture on b2, but so what? In the end, there's two problems too many for black to sort out. White will soon be winning material now. Bishop falls back. You can take here right away, or if this knight is for some reason scaring you, knock it out first, follow up with the fork on c7. Okay. In this game, after knight d5, it is bishop captures b2. Pop quiz. How would you continue here? Feel free to pause the video. Okay, top move here. There's many top moves in this game. Here we go, g4. Where are you supposed to go, knight? If you think about capturing this rook here, you're going to get crushed. Do you know that? You take the rook, you're going to get killed on the dark squares. Knight f6, bishop h6. You can't survive this. Black is definitely missing that dark square bishop right around here. So you really can't even consider taking this rook. You have to figure out, where should I go with the knight? In the game, it's knight g7. Why not go to your favorite square? Well, after rook b1, this guy here is really short on squares. You only have e5, but that's short-lived. White will soon win a minor piece now. This is no way out, opening up squares here, because in the end, there's still two problems too many. So, the knight, sadly, has to fianchetto, so that after rook b1, the move played in the game, the bishop has a square. Excellent follow-up now. How tempting it may be to want to just swipe that dark square bishop, but it's not going anywhere. Best move here, f4. Keeps the queen in a way, in a restricted state. It's uncomfortable. You may be, in a way, by capturing this dark square bishop, freeing up black's pieces somewhat. f4 robs many black pieces of this e5 square, and white is also gearing up for g5 with the focus on this f6 square. Now the drawback, naturally, with this f4 move is that e4 is up for grabs. Black takes pawn number 2. White continues with g5, bishop e7, and now bishop to d3. I should point out, there's a downside here playing g5, a trade-off. You focus on f6, but you do open up f5 for a couple minor pieces. Note, however, where is the rook supposed to go? Well, it only has one safe square. It goes to e6. Forget about bishop f5. Really uncoordinated here. Team Black up 2 pawns, but super invasive pawns taking away many key squares from the minor pieces. Excellent follow-up here. Nice retreat. Bishop to c1, not to d2. c1, back home. Opening up e3 for rank number 2 knight to enter the attack. And also staying out of the way. This doesn't end up playing out in the game, but by having the bishop on rank 1 instead of 2, this idea is right around the corner. A rook lift, inviting that last piece into the attack. Okay, the follow-up here is f6. Black tries to break down the g5 pawn. Right around here, the best way to stay in the game in the computer's eyes, it's suggesting bishop f8, followed up with knight to e8, trying to give some coverage to this f6 square. Continue with knight g4, bishop g7. We'll have a continual battle over the f6 point with a line like this. White is still for choice. Okay, the try in this game is f6. This is now considered completely winning for white. No rush here. With some capture, white maintains the g5 pawn, maintains control over f6. We have a capture on g5 now. Another pop quiz. How would you recapture here? Feel free to pause the video. Okay, is this a moment to say, let's not follow the general rule of taking towards the center? No. Best is to take towards the center. Now, it may be tempting to take with the f-pawn because you get this open file, right? Note the downside, however, e5 is opened up for the knight. You can pivot there, and then right around the corner, there's c6, and your strong knight will be flushed from its strong post. Another way to look at this with white's reply here taking towards the center is that it's a bit more dynamic structurally. There is a pawn break for white that is now right around the corner. f5 will soon hit, and the light squares will soon collapse in black's camp. The follow-up here, bishop f8. We improve our second rank knight. Knight h5, and there we go. f5 on board. Now, this position is so bad for black. He has assessed it. He has essentially said to himself, I'm just going to end up giving up a rook. What are black's other options? In the game, bishop g7 is played here, but let's consider some different moves. First of all, you take on f5, the knight hangs. If you move the rook to one of these two squares, a couple ways you could continue as white. Knight g4 is a way. Also rook b2 to g2, activating that last piece. What about an exchange sacrifice on this square? This is still a winning advantage for white. Big problems on the light squares. One last move to consider here. After this advance, suppose queen takes g5 check. White would have a cute response to this. Check this one out. You can block the check and essentially land a check right back. And after the queen moves, the rook will fall. Okay, black sees it best in this game to cover f6, allow the rook to be captured. So we now look at what kind of an imbalance, a rook versus 3 pawns. We continue with bishop f5, beautiful move. Welcoming exchange, taking advantage of this overloaded g6 pawn. This knight ready to fall at any moment on these captures on f5. Bishop f7 here, and just one more move with this game. Bishop g4, black resigns. What are you supposed to do here? This knight is ready to fall, the knight is ready to pounce right after. If you move the knight, there's a sacrifice on f7, there's a check on f3, the knight's ready to fall, you block with the knight. You really can't go wrong here, taking in either direction on f5. Some other sequence, just look at one other one after bishop g4. Suppose queen g5 here. There's knight f5. This queen only has one safe square. Look at these monster knights, taking away a ton of dark squares. She would have to go to d8 and prepare for the next game. And pick your favorite way to continue from here. Grab a bishop, grab a knight. I'll play out one continuation, something like this. Okay, I don't think we need to go too much further from here. That could collapse, that could collapse. This one is definitely a goner. All right, but in this one, we only go as far as bishop to g4, and black simply threw in the towel. So, what did you think of this one? Mamedov might as well have been playing against Stockfish here, with Liren registering a 99% accuracy. Feel free, as usual, to leave any feedback to this video in the comment section below. I hope you enjoyed it and maybe took a thing or two away. That's all for now. Take care. Bye.